Hello! For this video, we will begin a new topic, power plants or production of power from heat. So the first part of the lecture would be more on introduction only, mga concepts that some of them you already know from your previous subjects. So this slide shows the global energy demand forecast up to 2040. Okay. Basically, what this slide is trying to say is that as time goes by, the demand for energy increases. Okay. The projection increases, but the problem is the supply is not increasing as well, pero not at the same rate. So basically, there's a projected 56% increase in the global energy demand between 2010 to 2040. Yan. So we need to be able to supply this energy demand, or else it will stamp our economic growth. And there are different energy sources for power generation. Ayan, alam nyo na yan. I won't discuss that. The first one is from fossil fuels. Examples, coal and crude petroleum. Right. So, ano ba yung mga products from crude oil? We have diesel, jet fuel, and gasoline. So, sa other products, we have heavy oil, liquid LPG gases, etc. So, those are just some of the examples. And, diba, hindi siya renewable because it's made from fossilization process which takes millions of years. So, we need to wait millions of years to replenish the fossil fuel. The other one is nuclear fission. It's from nuclear reaction wherein the nucleus of the atom splits into smaller parts, producing neutrons and light nuclei, and eventually produces photons in the form of gamma rays. It's a heavily exothermic reaction, and we start with heavy elements. It can release both large amounts of electromagnetic radiation and kinetic energy. And we usually use uranium and plutonium as our raw material for the nuclear fission. And the other one is nuclear fusion, wherein we combine nuclei to produce larger atoms. So in fission to split, fusion to combine, and it produces very large amount of thermal and radiant energy. For example, fusion of hydrogen to form helium nuclei, and this is what actually happens in the sun. And we also have the renewable energy sources. Examples are the solar energy, geothermal, wind, biomass, biogas, and hydroelectric. For solar energy, we basically harness the radiant light and heat from the sun using solar technologies. Alam niyo na yan. Okay, this is a diagram of a photovoltaic solar power system. So, from the solar cell, yan, may inverter, and then transformer, then power lines. In the USA, merong big solar power plants that can deliver up to 250 megawatts. So, may ibang countries din, meron ding solar power plant. Wind energy, it's made from harnessing the kinetic and dynamic energy of the wind and converting it to electrical energy using a turbine and a generator. But the biggest disadvantage is it's limited by the geographical location. Dapat malakas yung hangin. Ayan, example sa mga wind farms. Next is geothermal energy. It's the energy extracted from the heat inside the earth. And favorable yan where geothermal activity is high. So, saan ba yun? Saan ba yung high na geothermal activity? Kung saan nagko-collide yung tectonic plates. Best examples, dito sa Pinas actually, mayaman tayo sa geothermal energy because nasa Pacific Ring of Fire tayo, malapit. And there are various ways to harness the geothermal energy. One is through flash steam, and then binary cycle and dry steam power plant. We also have hydroelectric energy, meron din tayo dito. So, water is stored behind a dam and with a given height, then allowed to run off through culverts around the dam. Then, gumagamit rin ng turbines at the bottom. And this is something that's new, tidal power. It utilizes the tides or the waves. Yan. So, it's designed to extract energy from the tidal flow in an open sea. Yan. So, this is a diagram of tidal power. And we also have biomass energy. As compared to fossil fuels, biomass is renewable kasi it's just from plants, from animals, from humans, okay? And all organic matter is known as biomass. We can convert all organic matter as biomass. Pero, of course, hindi lahat ay magiging parang economically feasible. So, it also depends. For example, yung wood from trees, agricultural waste, agricultural crops, etc. These are examples of biomass energy. And we also have yung manure, animal manure, pwede rin yung biomass energy. May different types. We have, according to form, we have solid, liquid, or gas. So, example ng solid, yung mga wood, pwede yung rice straw, rice husk. Liquid, yung mga bioethanol, biodiesel, and then gas yung from anaerobic digestion, yung methane from the anaerobic digestion of manure and say substrate mo ay rice straw, pwede rin. It can be applied sa electricity, pwedeng heat if you burn it directly. Pwede, kung electricity, dapat meron kang power plant. Kung ethanol siya, bioethanol, then can be used in transportation. And this is for the Philippine scenario. So, the source is Department of Energy. Ito yung mix ng sources natin ng energy noong 2010. Medyo luma na. Highly dependent pa rin tayo sa oil, sa natural gas, saka sa coal. Pero at least, meron tayong biomass, geothermal, hydro, wind. Ayan, ito. Pero, by 2011, nag-increase pa yung dependency natin sa coal. At least, nag-decrease yung oil. Yun. Tapos, so, ito yung projections ng Department of Energy dun sa sources natin ng energy. Pataas pa rin yung fossil fuels, at least pataas na rin yung renewable energy. Pero, the goal is mas mataas pa yung renewable energy na ma-produce natin. So, this just shows yung installed capacity for power for different archipelagos, yung Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And this shows the supply versus demand. So, may nag-increase kasi green is the required additional capacity. So, nag-increase talaga yung requirement for supply of energy. Whereas yung kasi just to follow or support the increasing demand. Okay. So, ito muna yung sa lecture natin. Next lecture na yung heat engine.